Hi guys, so today I wanted to take some time and show you guys how we do our laundry off-grid. So for us, when we decided to live in our camper on our property while we build, we knew that we would face some obstacles in how to execute our normal daily chores. A big one for me is laundry. We have two boys and there's a lot of dirt, and laundry needs to get done regardless of the situation on our build. And since we're relatively rural, our closest laundromat is about 20 minutes away. So that's 40 minutes round trip, not to mention the time spent at the laundromat. That is valuable time for us. Since we're both working, we need to spend every minute we can here on the property building and working on the land. So we were really motivated to try and figure out a way that we can do our laundry here on the property. And we did a lot of research. We looked up portable washing machines. We looked up, I even thought about just getting one of those big wash bins and just doing it old school, you know, the way that our grandparents used to do it. And ultimately we decided to just go with a traditional size washer machine, and we've tweaked it in a way where it works for us. So I want to show you the modifications that we have made to make it work for us. There was definitely a learning curve in how to do all this, and we made some mistakes early on. So I wanted to show you guys how we do it so that if you choose this lifestyle as well, you can be rest assured that there's a way to do laundry off-grid. So let me show you guys how we do it. Now, one thing that we quickly realized when we were trying to hook up the water to the washer machine was there are two hoses that connect to the back of the washing machine. One is for cold water, one is for hot water. Now we only have cold water, so the first thing we did, the first mistake we made, was only hooking up a cold water hose. The washer machine, the traditional washing machines are smarter than us, and they will not work unless you have the cold and the hot water hose hooked up to the machine, because it does pull from both. Even on a cold water wash, which is what we do for our settings, it was not allowing us to do a cycle if we didn't have both of those hooked up. So just a tip, if you're trying to do this, make sure you do hook up both a cold and a hot water hose, even if you just have cold water. So this is what ours looks like. We've got a cold and a hot water hose, but we are only supplying the washer with cold water. All right, so we're really close to the generator, so now I'm gonna have to talk over it. But basically, this is where we get our water from for our washer machine. So this is a 60-gallon water tank. This is what we were using when we were filling up the camper before we had our water well. We would go into town every other day, fill this up, and it would give us a day or two of water for our camper, depending on what we were using it for. So now that we have the well to fill our camper, we actually use this tank for our washer independently. That's all we use it for. So I will show you guys a little bit about how we get that over there, but this is about a little bit less than half full, so we have probably about 25 gallons, 20 gallons of water. So I'll get a good load out of this. I'll have to fill it up again to get a couple more loads done. So all of this piping that you see right there is not necessarily required if you are using your tank just for the water for the washer machine. For us, when we were using this tank to fill up our camper, Steven actually modified all the piping so that it would go from the very, very back of the bed all the way down and off of the back of the truck bed, so that we had all the piping there and we could fit the hose right over to get it into our camper. So all of that you're going to see here, it's not necessary if you're just using a tank to fill up your washer. This is just kind of what we had done before, and we're not going to undo it. It works fine. So if you see that, not completely necessary. Okay, and now we need to get the water from the tank through the hose to the washer machine. And to do that, we needed to get a water pump. So we bought a water pump, and it's powered by a 12-volt battery, and we just hook it up, and that's how we get the water from the tank through the hose to the washer. All right, and now for power. So we're off grid, so we have to use our generator to power our washing machine. So we have an extension cord that's hooked up to the washing machine, and we actually have it going all the way right to where our generator is. now we're all hooked up for power and water, and it's time to get our wash started. One thing I also wanted to add is if you're using the generator for multiple things, make sure you know the maximum output for your generator. So for us, I know that we can run the AC in our camper and also the washer at the same time. So just know the limits, because right now if someone went to go try to make a cup of coffee with Keurig, we're gonna pop the breaker and the wash will stop. So just know your maximum output. All right, one other very important thing is this hose that's on the back of the washer. So this is the drain hose. It's what drains the rinse cycle and everything like that. And this has to be elevated. So if you're at your home, if you go and look, this hose is definitely mounted higher than the washer, or the high end of the washing machine. We at first we just kind of set this to the side and let it drain. Well, there's a sensor in the washing machine where it can tell how high the water's filled. And if it's just constantly draining out of this hose, you're literally just putting water in and out. So you do have to keep this elevated. So Stephen created this little concoction where the hose goes in here, into some piping, out here, and then it gets drained into that hole right there. All right, so that's how we do it. So the washing machine is powered by the generator from an extension cord. We get the water from the 60-gallon tank to the washer machine, and it uses the 12-volt battery that powers the water pump that helps it get over to here. And after that, once the cycle's done, then we hang up all of our laundry up there and clean clothes, off-grid laundry.